Jenny Lynn, and this is my channel, and today we're gonna pick the next artwork. Shake 'em up, shake 'em, shake 'em, shake 'em, shake 'em, baby. All right, let's get started. What's it gonna be? It is going to be a walrus. Ooh, those ones are, they're an interesting looking animal, so that'll be really fun. And the walrus is going to be hanging out with Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte and a walrus. That's pretty weird. I might have to do like a really small Napoleon riding on a walrus. That could be pretty funny. Trusty walrus steed. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with. I gotta put some thought into this one, but it's gonna be pretty funny. All right, guys, I'm gonna get started. Time for me to hit you with some amazingly cool facts about the walrus. So both male and female walruses have tusks, and they are also called the giants of the sea for a reason, because these guys are huge. They can weigh about 1.5 tons. Can you imagine? And they also have about 6 inches of blubber all over their bodies because they live in places where it gets extremely cold. So being big is totally beautiful because it actually helps them survive. And they absolutely love shellfish, so they like to eat things like clams and mussels, and they have very, very sensitive whiskers on their faces, so when they dive down, they can kind of feel around to find their very, very favorite foods. So there you go. I hope you learned something. Keep on watching. time for What in the Heck is Jenny Eating? And to keep in trend with my favorite candy, I am going to eat something sour, but I'm gonna try these type of warheads. Now, we loved warheads as kids. We loved to just eat them and eat them and eat them until we couldn't take it anymore. But these particular warheads are cube shaped. So they're like a cube shaped candy. I'm going to give them a sample. Ooh. They're very sugary, like all good candies are. It's a little cube. Looks kind of like a gumdrop. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Not as sour as like the old school warheads, but pretty good. Okay, because I'm a little bit of a sour candy snob, I'm only gonna give this a 2 out of 5. I know, pretty harsh, right? Pretty harsh, but these are just kind of like, in a way, eating gummy bears that have just a very, very tiny amount of sour. They aren't as explosive as the original warhead candies. So these are good, they're fine, but I'm gonna stick with the original. I'm just gonna eat what I know is good from now on in regards to warheads. All right, guys, keep on watching. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this piece of art. So this is Napoleon and the Walrus. And at first I really didn't know exactly what I was going to do for this one, because I use reference images quite a bit, especially when I'm, doing figures of history. Like I like to, not only read about them, like their accomplishments or what their life was like,
but I also like to look at, reference images to just, be sure that I'm getting it right. Like the face, how they, the expressions, what color eyes did they have, And so with Napoleon, they, didn't have cameras back then. So a lot of the pictures that I was looking at for reference are, classical works of art, by other artists. So what I decided to do was, look at some of those pieces, and one of Napoleon's most famous paintings is a painting of him riding a horse crossing the Alps. And he's got this very big billowing cape, and he's got his uniform and the hat, and it's a very powerful looking piece of artwork. He's going ahead, he's marching forward across the Alps. He's very it's a very power figure kind of piece. So I decided to take away the horse and put the walrus in its place. So make it look like Napoleon is riding on a walrus to cross the Alps, which I think makes it extra funny. So those of you who are familiar with the classical piece, you can see where, I got the idea from. And yeah, could you imagine if you could ride a walrus, which you can't, but if you could, well, I mean, I guess you could, but it could end very poorly. If you could, what would that trip be like? Trying to cross the Alps on a walrus. It would take an extraordinary amount of time for one, and yeah, it would just, it's ridiculous. So decided to go in the ridiculous zone for that. And with this piece, I did use some metallic paint. In the original artwork, there's a lot of really beautiful ornate details in the uniform, and I didn't overdo those details, but in this, if you look close, you can actually see that there is some gold there. So I just sort of hinted at the ornateness, because I didn't, I'm not going to 100% copy the classical. I'm going to make it in my own style. And sometimes when I make artwork, I like to simplify things down a bit. So I simplified, that down a little bit. And the walrus was fun to do. I really love that there's the, wrinkles and creases and folds in the skin. And I absolutely love the whiskers. I'll just go ahead and bring in a little bit closer, so you can actually hopefully see a little bit of the, I know there's such a reflection on it. There's some metallic in there, and check out those funny whiskers. Oh, I love them so much. They're funny. But also within, some classical pieces, and in some paintings, of historical figures, one of the things that's difficult oftentimes is to really get an accurate idea of what eye color was probably like. So in several of the pictures of Napoleon, they're very obviously, blue eyes. And in this particular piece, because it was kind of a darker piece, it was tough to really discern what color his eyes were. So I kind of looked at a lot of different things, and then I came to the conclusion that it looked like he had blue eyes. So I went ahead and gave him blue eyes. So yeah. But overall, I am very pleased with how this one came out. I love the colors. And I crack up at the walrus. He totally cracks me up. So there you go. Keep on watching. Thank you so much for watching my latest video. I really appreciate it. So now if you would please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out all of my links down below. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye!